Hello everyone, Miss Darling in the studio. I hope you're all doing well, safe and happy and prosperous. Today I just happened to look up at a bookcase here in my studio and I happened to see this booklet, that a journal that I had purchased a long time ago, and I had started doing some collage work in it, and I'll put it back together the way it was when I took it off the shelf. It was in here like this, and just the little bit of work that I had done on it had caused it to bloom outward quite a bit, and I realized there's no way that I could keep going doing the same thing in this book as I was doing. So as I got to looking at it, I decided to cut the pages out that I had worked on and turn that into a different journal, and then do something different with this at a later point. What I'll do with it, I don't know, but I'm just gonna lay it out here. So let me tell you a little bit about the work that I did in here first. These are collage pages, and each spread has a life lesson, life rule, life advice statement on it that I was making to give to my daughter or to leave behind after I'm gone, so that if she had a question after I'm gone as to, I wonder what Mom would have said, I wonder what she would have told me to do about this situation, she could maybe pull out this book of guidance and kind of go through it and find out what I would have said, because there are some principles in here for life that I have said to her over and over again as she grew up. So I think it'll make up a nice little journal booklet all by itself. I just need to reinforce it and do something with the front and back cover. I'm going to now see if I can turn into a little journal of its own and make it look a little like it's actually finished instead of in such disrepair. So the first thing I gotta do is to touch up this spine and reinforce it somehow. I'm gonna glue this red fabric. I'm not going to try to take that off. I'm going to leave that on and glue the end down firmly, and then cover that with, I think some duct tape will do what I need it to do. And I encourage everyone to, take time out of your busy day and your creativity to do some things that will have a positive impact on other people. And not just have fun with a purpose. Be creative with a purpose. And I said in, I think, my first video on this channel that Albert Einstein said creativity is intelligence having fun. And I think that this creativity should be fun, but I think it's also great if creativity has a meaningful purpose. If not for others, then at least for you. I try to fill my days with something that makes me feel fulfilled at the end of the day. Like my day was well spent. Okay, that seems to have taken care of that issue. So I had some books here that I've purchased that are true antique books printed in the 1800s or the early 1900s, and you can see how the paper is nicely turned brown, and it is very delicate as well. Crumbles just with you looking at it. So I thought, since this is a book, a journal about life advice, that I would kind of cover it with some pages out of the past, and give it some history as well as making it look a little more special. We'll give it some history. I don't know if my daughter's going to what she'll think of this. I thought I wouldn't even show it to her while I'm alive. Just leave it somewhere in my belongings where she'll run across it after I'm gone, and in the hopes that it will have some meaning for her at that time. So I'm not going to tear these just randomly. I'm going to be very tender with them. And we'll see how it goes. The kind of the same on both sides. I love it when the pages have turned colors, and you kind of have to look for things, books that were printed in the 1800s to get something that's has really turned. Now I can't go on the other side because I have artwork there, so we're just going to lay that up there. See, broke away on me right there. Even as I was going over the paper with this, it broke away on me a little bit. So I'm not real happy with how the glue is coming out of this. See if I can't loosen it up a bit. I have a couple of poems here from a book of poetry published in the 1900s of poems by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and so I'm going to use some of that. Every page I have here is very delicate. I have to be very careful. It's very difficult to look at an old book published in the 1800s and get to a place where you feel okay with taking it apart, doing something else with it, and So I have to try to look at it as I'm giving it new life. I'm not destroying it. I'm giving it another reason to live. So but I still feel a tinge of pain when I tear it up. And I'm putting these down, you know, little snippets from several books in various stages of turning brown and putting it down with the text going in different directions, different size of text, different style of text, so that there's some variety there to add interest. And I try to do it in such a way that when you're looking at the book, at the front cover, you're not going to be tempted to try to read what's there, but you just know that there are words on various pages, but it's not to be read, just to appreciate that it's there in the history of it. You know, these were actually words that someone thought about and wrote down and got published back in the day when it would have been really, really difficult to get something, you know, to publish something yourself. There was no internet, so you couldn't just put it down digitally and have something printed off on demand. You had to find a publisher willing to invest in you as an author and willing to pay you for what you've written. And have your words sorry about that.
No need to apologize.
That was Siri. What a surprise that was. No need to apologize. I sure didn't expect that. I have to take my medicine. So here's what we're looking at so far. Some of the pages in one of the books have somebody was doing some underlining. I think it was some sort of an educational study or an essay. Somebody had done some underlining. Poetry down there. A few lines. As this journal continues on its living its new life, I guess these wonderful vintage book pages will continue to darken. I just noticed my recording stopped somewhere along the line. I do not know when or why that happened, but it did. So while it is recording, let me show you where I'm at now. So I've been rambling away as I've been covering this. I'm on the back page now, or the back side now, and we'll soon finish up. Delicate, delicate paper. Very delicate. Wish I knew when I lost my recording. I think when I get done with this, I will probably put an acrylic sealer of some kind on it to preserve and protect the paper, because it really crumbles very easily. And just in case it was not recording when I was talking about positioning, I'm doing the different papers from different books going in different directions. Some of it's placed vertically, the text is vertically, some of it is straightforward, some of it's upside down, and trying to get a color variance and make it so that you're not drawn to try to read what's there, but that you just consciously realize that there's something there that's textural. I'll probably wind up covering some of it up with some ephemera of some kind. I just haven't at this point thought about what that might be. I'm using art glitter glue, which is a very good wet glue for basically for gluing paper. It sets up rather quickly, so you're not having to wait a long time for it to dry, and it's very good. It doesn't ooze out on you all the time and make a mess. Kind of stays where you put it. You just got to make sure you don't put a whole glob on. Especially don't do it toward the outside or the edges, where it'll ooze out. And I have very little problem with glue oozing out the sides or the top or bottom. It's very good that way. All right, we got some poetry on there. I think we'll go with something on the darker side down here. I want to do it upside down. When you're doing collage, you want to have a variance of color, intensity, value changes, but you also want to vary the size of your pieces. Don't make everything the same. Put some larger pieces down and then have some areas where it's just something, a small snippet. We're still recording, so I had no idea why it stopped on me before. I must have, I don't know, bumped something or whatever. And I think that'll go right up there nicely. But I don't think I want these little pieces sticking out on the side. I hadn't planned to do this today, but this art journal I started a long time ago just caught my eye sitting up there on a shelf. And I thought, that might make a halfway decent video. And I should do something with that. So here we are. Making a second video today. Unexpected. All right, where should we put this? Maybe I should wait until I've decided what else to do decoration-wise, because when you have little unusual snippets like this where the text is larger than everything else, you don't want to wind up gluing it down somewhere where you ultimately decide something else has to go, and then it winds up getting covered up. So since I have no idea at this point where I'm going to go with this right now, I'm going to have to stop filming and make some decisions. But I think we made a good first step in taking the art images that I had done and making them feel a little more valuable by taking them out of the other journal and giving them their own space and putting a new front and back cover on it. And then I'll come back and show you what I ultimately decided to do with it. So for now, I'm going to call this a wrap. All right, my darlings, I'm back. I don't know what happened, but right toward the end of the previous clip, suddenly my camera stopped recording and I missed getting everything that I was blabbering about. So let me just fill you in on what I cannot recapture. I had decided I was going to cover the spine for some extra protection with this piece of black lace that I had in my stash, and I hand sewed the lace right on the edge so I would get a little more finished instead of just a rough cut there. And then I glued it, I glued it on with the Fabrifix glue for fabric, and so I'm happy with how that turned out. And it also gave me a chance to go ahead and figure out what my final embellishments were going to be and how I was going to pull it all together. So I have decided on these 2 French stamps, which depict some really old European French buildings in the background, and this fussy cut butterfly that I have in my stash. Then for down here, I wanted some more text, and I wanted something that was very meaningful to me to pass on to my daughter. So I chose a scripture that literally helped me survive in the aftermath of the death of my best friend. And so I printed out that scripture, which is from Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 10. The joy of the Lord is my strength. I would say this verse to myself every night when I got in bed, and it's comforted me so that I could go to sleep. So I decided to put that on the front. I cut out a template out of the leftover acrylic sheets that I have. This is 1.5 millimeter thick, and I cut it out the size that I want. And so I haven't yet decided which one I'm going to use, so I'm going to cut out 2 of them, and the template helps me with placement. So we're going to try that one, and then I'm going to try this one over here, which is a slightly different font. You can see the text is darker, and try to get it lined up there reasonably well. Just working strictly from eyeballing things. So we're going to cut those 2 out. Then I also made up the word journal in several different kinds of funky type styles in different sizes. I have 14, I believe 16, 18, 24, 22 points, something like that. And so I'm going to take a 1/2 inch template that I have and kind of put that down over one of the words that I think I might like to have somewhere. Probably not on the front, but maybe on the back. That wound up a little bit. When you work with a template and you're drawing around it, you of course are going to get a shape that is bigger than the template. So I'm going to leave it as it is because I can always cut it down. I think that kind of matches the font that I will have on the front. So let's go ahead and cut these out and see how they do. I can't imagine why my camera stopped filming. I can only think that maybe I bumped it somehow during the course of filming, and it's the second time I believe that's happened to me. So I need to figure out if I'm causing it somehow so I can stop doing that. It's aggravating. I didn't get that quite cut. Okay. I may go with that because I'm going to cut out the darker version anyway, but I'm thinking that maybe I will go with the lighter version because I don't want the text to overpower my focal points up there, and that can happen. And you don't want to have two focal points because then you confuse the viewer, doesn't know what to look at first. So it's always a good idea to have one main focal point and try not to conflict with that if you can help it. Just a little tip on composition. Okay, let's see what difference this might make. This is on a little bit darker background and the text is darker as well. So we could do that. This one blends more. I don't have a clear winner right at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of distress the sides a little bit. I'm inking with some Tim Holtz distressed ink. I can't see the name of the color anymore, but I believe it's walnut. I'll have a link in the description box. Okay, make that stand out a little bit more. That looks nice. Inking your edges is a really good little trick. It can make a world of difference in the visual end product. Okay, so we've got that. Oh, we've got this. And I've changed my mind. I think I like the darker version better. So I'm going to do that. You may disagree, which is fine, but it's my journal. So, okay. Now we're going to slip out this one stamp here, and these are canceled stamps, by the way, and they're the real. Had value at one point. Now it's just got visual value. I'm not liking that 70, I don't know if that's francs or what. is a French stamp, so I guess that's what it is. I'm not really liking that 70. I think it grabs too much attention. So I'm gonna cover it over by angling this other stamp on top. And I like working in a threesome anyway for balance. So I'm gonna draw my butterfly and figure out the angle. Do I want the butterfly to cross over the text down here? That's too far away from the stamps. Get that up so we have a tight grouping. In groupings, you want all the various elements to appear as if they're just one element. A lot of times people space things out so far apart that it's no longer a grouping, it's just several individual pieces put somewhat near each other, but not near enough to make one cohesive whole. So that's true for designing junk journals. It's also true for artwork in general, and it's also true for interior design. So if you're wanting to put a grouping on a wall in your home, you need to make sure that you're placing your various elements close enough together that when you stand back, squint your eyes and look at it, it appears to be just one big single unit. And okay, I could go there. I really don't want to lose the full word American, so I'm going to drop this in right below that. I'm real happy I found this somewhat long lost journal I started many years ago, gradually adding more and more art into it till I had 10 pieces, but by then it had become so fat I kind of got discouraged on going further, and I didn't know what to do. That was before I got into doing junk journals. So, yes, I'm liking that, and I'm going to put a single word journal on the back cover. We have that already selected over here. Tell you, working with templates sure makes things easier and quicker. I don't know if I mentioned in this video or not, but I have in previous videos that I have a downloadable kit in my Etsy store of templates. You can print them out and then use that as a guide for making your actual acrylic templates. So That looks pretty good. I'm going to ink it up a bit. And then find a spot here on the back. Probably just right up there, real simple, straightforward. You're wondering about the red Han on my work. That's my Japanese artist emblem. It's kind of like a artist signature. You'll see it a lot all the time in Japanese art, and it means mysterious stranger. So I will try to maybe put these pages in a kit, so that's available to you as well for anybody who's interested. And if you go looking and you don't find it, send me a message and I'll make sure I get it uploaded to my Etsy shop. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you found this enjoyable, fun, and helpful. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your family and friends. I'd appreciate the support. And I'll be back in the next video. I hope you'll join me once again then. Until then, this is Miss Darling saying, I'm calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.